that shit this time as well. Because it does focus, like, wait, oh shit. There you go. It does actually focus if you give it a second. Yeah. So that's the plan here. I'm going to paint some minis with oil paint. I'd said they're Warhammer, but they might necessarily be Warhammer fully. They could just be, 28 mil monstery looking fellas. Just going to check if this is working on this end. Okay, yeah, that's sweet. Okay, so basically the way I do this, I don't know if this is the best way to do it. This is actually decently focused. It is. Because it looks pretty crap on my other screen unless I am, I'm streaming it, picking it up quite low resolution. Oh, actually, it doesn't look too bad, Look at that. If it catches up. Oh, that's actually classless. That actually looks all right. Cool. Okay, I'm not gonna be watching myself. I just wanted to check it has some level of sound. Does it? Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be pissed off if this has no sound the whole time. But sure, look. Hey Chase, how you doing? I was just about to say if someone's in the chat, just let me know if there's actually any sound there at all. Basically, right. Got this odorless stuff. This is so much better than white spirits. Distilled turpentine. I used to use white spirits or the really stinky stuff. This stuff actually smells kind of nice. This stuff is more expensive, but it doesn't blow your head off, and it's actually quite pleasant. But color-wise, I've got some sticky. I don't know what that's all about. Don't know why I had to smell it, but yeah, decent like blacks and purples and stuff. Blacks and browns in that. Oh hey, cheers man, cheers for a nice comment. Thanks, Peasant Man. That's actually that's really nice to hear. Thanks. But yeah, hey Chase. Yeah, literally, I'm just going to try put some paint on these guys. Some oil paint, if that will focus. It's the trouble with using the phone, lads. There you go. To do the old YouTuber trick. Can you hear me? Okay, well, the usual audio quality. So basically, the way I do this is mix the colors together. Like these are cheapy oil paints that I have as well, like cheap set, like the ones that you get for students that aren't necessarily very good. These are colors that I use. I don't know why they do this. They get all kind of sticky. And Che Goblin, what's going on, man? Loud and clear. Cheers. Yeah, this stuff. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's about how I store them, but they get all kind of goopy or whatever. It looks kind of cool, to be honest, but it doesn't do anything to the oil paint, I don't think. My knowledge of oil paints is pretty limited, to be honest. But I'm just going to throw some colors on these guys and see what happens. I got into kind of trying the oils from, is it 52 Miniatures? I'm sure you know that guy from YouTube, and he had a video on them, and they look pretty. He made it look quite approachable. So that's my plan. Is to just to do this, and then if you see how kind of easy and how crap I do it, and I'd say the results usually turn out pretty good for how much work I put into it. The snake bites chase, yeah. Do you know I actually did? I am every so often doing a snake bite. I have this guy. I don't know if that's going to show up at all. This kind of standard messed around. That was trying to use some blue stuff for the head to resculpt or to recast the bit. If that's going to focus at all. 1 second there. There you go. See, it's not perfect, but the most important bits, the teeth and the mouth and everything are there. Then just messing with some squigs, that's a little Sculpey, not Sculpey, what's the other one? Polymer clay squig. if yeah, so he looks kind of looks more like a toad, not like unfriendly squig, and then he's got a squig that he's got on a spear as well. Now, if that focuses, I'll be impressed. Hey, look at that! And he's got one leg, so I'm working on his other leg, and he's just roaring. And so that's kind of how they. That's the most recent orc I think I've worked on. But yeah, that's one of the other projects that kind of possibly got somewhat lost to time for the moment. So literally, like, I'm just gonna slap this on and see what happens because the recesses are so dark. It and the highlights are so bright. It's not that technical, really. It kind of does the work for you. If I was to slather this all up with this purple, it would actually look pretty sweet. Oh, geez, Chase. Yeah, these guys are actually they were a lot of fun to do. They're actually just army men. Um, just kind of a hot glue and a bit of sculpting on top of them. I think I kind of went a bit mad on them a bit more than I was going to originally, just because it was fun, to be honest. Hey, what's going on? There's actually very few people in chat. How's it going, guys? Wasn't expecting this now. I know time zones and people in different countries and stuff is kind of hard to figure out when to stream. And to be honest, I'm just streaming when I feel like it and I have time. To be honest, now this could be completely messy, and it probably will be very messy. But just as an experiment, right? I'm gonna basically cover this guy in the purple here, and just to show you that it does the work for you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna use this as a handle because it's already getting a bit messy. Brazil, yeah, Marco, that's what I'm talking about. It's all over the place, man. It's class. I feel like the you like hobby on YouTube is just absolutely huge. Netherlands. Hey Don, how's it going, man? That's so weird. Sexy clone trooper is my brother. That's weird. And he lives in the Netherlands. How's it going, man? That's so strange. Oh yeah, Cowboys and Indians chase totally. I've seen people do I actually saw people make bullywogs, I think they're called. I think they're like little frog fellas from D&D out of basically Cowboys and Indians. Little figures, and they look class. All he did was kind of just give them new heads. Now, I discovered last time I streamed, right? It was a bit of a disaster, yeah, but I got through it. At the same time, got a bigger respect for streamers because Jesus Christ, it is difficult to do anything and read a chat at the same time. When you're able to read, I'm not the best at that. Um, yeah, exactly, Marco. Exactly. I've seen your stuff as well, man. I love your toy bashes and your monsters. I'm pretty sure I follow you on Instagram as well, and I'll steal all your ideas and pretend they were mine. I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's so kind of like I think every country will have like little cheap toys and that kind of thing. Like, look, okay, already it's not much, and I'm not really paying attention to it, but it's picking up all the lovely texture and all that kind of thing. It's great. Yeah, exactly, man. Kit bashes, you know, you see all the guys in America working with their, dollar store toys and their charity shops, or what do they call them over there? They call them Goodwills and all that. I think that's like a brand charity shop. And I'd be over here looking at charity shops, and I'm lucky to find that and good. But hey, I'm going to keep looking because it's like it's like you never know what you're going to get. And everybody has. Do you know those ones that loads of guys in America are doing the Final Faction? Anybody into kit bashing channels will know what I'm talking about. Final Faction. It's like a really cheap toy selection that was in basically like pound shops for pound shops or discount stores and that kind of thing. Oh, this stuff actually smells kind of nice, you know. It could be one of those things though, if you like smell it too much, it could kind of mess with you a bit. But like I said, I didn't really have any plans going into this as to like color scheme for these guys, but I I've done this before, and basically afterwards I go over them with some acrylics just for highlights and that kind of thing. Because right now this guy is literally just greens and purples. As you can see, the lighting setup isn't necessarily the best. Let me see, is that any better? You know, literally what I've done before with the black and the white is doing all the work. And yeah, Chase, exactly. Final Faction, man. I've seen that stuff all over the place on YouTube. And Don as well. Sorry, Don, I'm calling you Don. Sexy Clone Trooper. I forgot that was your username, to be honest with you. I forgot that was your username. For a second, I didn't know who you were until I saw your profile pic. And what I'm going to do, I'll do some black as well, just to have it on the palette. But Chase, yeah, the Final Faction toys, Convert and Kit Bash. Like literally, when you're looking at the toys in the pound shop or the discount store, so many of them, the plastic is crap. The plastic is really annoying. Marco will know what I'm talking about, or anybody. It's just really crap, and it takes paint very badly, and or just, you know, it's a pain to work with basically. Or you might have to use like E6000 or some kind of mental glue to kind of make it do anything for you. So I keep an eye out for things. I love like rip off kind of Chinese stuff. Marco, oh yeah, say talking to Sexy Clone Trooper there in the chat. Kinder eggs not branded here. They're not banned here. Yeah, exactly, Marco. We have Kinder eggs over here in Ireland as well. I don't understand why you would ban Kinder eggs. Like literally, my children are, you know, 1.5 and you know 3. They're tiny, and they don't eat Kinder egg. They don't eat the toys out of Kinder eggs. You know what I mean? But I've seen people when they're doing this, right, when they're doing this oil painting thing, is to have 2 brushes. Sorry, it might be off screen a fair bit. I'm still sorting this out. But if anybody saw the last stream, you can you already know it's going a fair bit better than the last time anyway so far. I never heard of anybody dying for the Kinder egg. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I bet there must be something else. Like it's probably not that they actually eat them and die. But I think they're kind of hit and miss. The toys are a bit hit and miss, to be honest with you. The plastic is good, and that like literally, look, that's a bit of a Kinder Surprise toy. I don't know what that is, and that's probably just going to go in a bits box and possibly never be used or used for something. But I might post these up after, right? Whatever I get done here, I might put them on Instagram and basically say, look, I wasn't even paying attention, and this is how good they look. Like I'm not blowing my own horn here, because I'm literally saying I'm not doing anything special at all. Epoxy sculpting putty do you use most? Oh, Chase is asking. I kind of use green stuff more, I think, just because I have some. I have Milliput there as well, but I got epoxy sculpt as well from work because I used to use it, and I got big tubs of it, and it was free, so I kind of used that a fair bit as well, just because it was free, and I like mixing that with green stuff as well. But a lot of the time, if it's for like smaller detail and stuff, it's green stuff, and I totally understand why people get annoyed with green stuff, and you know it is a bit of a learning curve, and the stuff that some people do is absolutely magic. Like the professionals are fucking serious at it, like oil painting. Yeah, I may check that out. Seriously, James, like any tips like that, once it's kind of I'll be honest with you, even if the tips are very good, the videos have to be packaged quite well just to for me to pay attention to it, which is kind of sounds bad, even if the person is skilled in everything. But honestly, nowadays it's kind of the person behind the camera has to be somewhat easy to listen to. And that's not throwing digs at people. That's my personal preference. I think this guy's probably okay. Might do a wee bit more green in him. So these guys are, like I said in the other video, like chaos or something similar. Like this guy by himself could be used as like some kind of D&D beastie, you know. So basically, it can be fecking anything really. Like, you know, I might add a bit more green onto the palette, if you can call it that. Yeah, Marker Man, exactly. Looked like it's really look at a draw. Marcus talking about chameleons in from a Kinder Egg. See, this is the thing I find with Kinder Surprise stuff, Kinder Egg stuff, is that for D&D or like even like a miniatures game, you'd probably need a few of the one monster because the monster's going to be quite small because it's in a small egg, yeah. So really, if you're going to make an encounter, you'd probably need a few of them, and then you'd want to buy a load of eggs, and then you never know what you're going to get. So it's kind of like, you know, I know it might be that's the way I'm thinking about it. Maybe that's too logically when literally you're just going in and saying like, oh, I might pick up a Kinder Surprise and see what I get, you know, rather than going for something specifically. Because I here's a tip though. I think the multi-pack Kinder Surprises have crap toys on them. This wasn't planned on being a Kinder Surprise bashing stream, by the way. Dinosaur toys, I think. Look, Chase, you know, dinosaur toys are. I think they're kind of a classic because they're kind of that thing you're probably going to find in every country. Some kind of dinosaur toy, and it could be quite cheap. I think Bill Making Stuff is going to do a new video. I think I saw on his Instagram that he's going to do another video where he kind of makes his crazy monsters out of his toys as well. Yeah, Marco, I can't remember now off the top of my head, but I'm sure on Marco's channel there's something, some kind of sweet dino conversion at some stage. If not, like it's a good basis for a dragon or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like if I picked out, you know, some of these details afterwards with different, maybe a lighter shade of green, and then pick out his eyes and his teeth. Like I call this guy basically done. I might do his fingernails a different color, but that's maybe about it. Because all the kind of the juiciness and all the texture you put in the work when you're modeling it, which is the bit that I kind of find more enjoyable, to be honest with you, really comes out when you throw the oil paint on it. Yeah, Mark, exactly. Trask. There you go. That's probably the best way to do a dragon or a Trask or something like that. Make a pterodactyl or pterodactyl. Now, other people when they're doing the oils, like they'll take their time and they might let that set for a while. I think you let it set and then come back to it with like a little earbud, or I think you call them something else in different countries as well. But basically, the stuff you put in your ears to take all your dirty wax out of it. The thing is, if you go at it too hard, um, the paint, it will kind of come off. If I was to like scratch at this or rub at it too much, even with the brush, it would come off. So I think he's probably okay for now. That's it. Like, you know, I always come back and do more. Now I'm going to add a different color. I don't think I have any yellows. Actually, do I have yellows? Don't know why that actually. Oh, I've got permanent markers. That could be cool. I'll look at that after. I don't think they'd work very well with oil paints. But yeah. Yeah, Marco, exactly. Like, look, if you're going to be making something big, a big dino toy is probably a good way to start for sure. Yeah, that's huge though. That would put me off as a project just because it's so like, I don't know, an undertaking to paint it. But there's workarounds for that as well, I suppose, like airbrush and bits and bobs like that. What do you use for the Reaper side blade? This fella is a. I think that's a bit of a plastic. Do you know, like sprue plastic? I probably have it somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, like literally that. Just scored it. I probably sanded it, and you can get like sweet blades and stuff out of that. For weapons. I have used fingernails and stuff in the past, which some people don't necessarily enjoy. But look, if I don't tell them, they don't know. Yeah, nice fingernails. Some kind of incantation or something. Okay, let's go for this owl guy. This unimpressed owl. He's got a man's body, so he's got like moobs and a belly, and his feet were meant to be hands, but and an arse. I put effort in it, but I didn't put in like you know hours and hours of effort. So normal kind of did something with it. Um, I've got a lot of oil here, so maybe this is going to be quite, I don't know, a mix of colors. Mixing in the red with everything else is just kind of making a dirty brown, but that's okay. Yeah, the fingernail thing, it kind of happened because I'm just looking at things you're kind of throwing away, and yeah, fair enough. It is kind of unhygienic and disgusting. And to be honest, if someone else told me that they did it with their minis, I'd be a bit weirded out. But the fact is, my minis and my fingernails, then I don't really mind. No, I don't really like where this guy is going. This direction is going right now. I have been kind of searching for a lot of other kind of inspiration images and stuff for more chaosy beasts and things just for this kind of army project I'm doing at the moment, which is basically just making whatever I want. Chaosy. And I'm not against, like buying miniatures in general, but I think there's making something about making something unique as well. Fair enough, it's cheap and all that, but there's something about making something totally unique. And I think I've said this before in other videos, but if I went to someone's house and they're into minis and they've got their whole rows and rows of shelves of their painted let's say Space Marines, I'd be like, fair play. I totally see where you come from. That's a lot of work in there, man. Nice, but you know what I mean. It's not as kind of there's nothing unique about it. I know you can go into conversions, you can go into there's lore, there's excuse me, color schemes, obviously, the history of your chapter, you do custom chapter and stuff like that. There's a bit you can do with it, yeah. Um Marco said, not gonna lie, I found a fingernail thing the first time I heard of the video. I found the fingernail things weird first time I heard it in a video. Second, I was like, sure, why not? Yeah, sure. Look, feck it. Like, I don't know. It is weird. It is weird. That's cool. That's okay. You can say it's weird. I'm not be offended. It is weird. I've said it first. Um, this guy, I'm not as feeling as much. This guy isn't really going in a direction that I'm loving right now. Maybe all these kind of shades of color will be like the base coat when I go in with acrylics after. Like I feel I might do his hands like in flesh color just to highlight that they are hands. They're not necessarily talons or anything. Yeah, exactly, Marco. I mean, like, look, dude, feck it. Like, if you're looking around YouTube and you're going to see all sorts of different, let's say, materials. You're going to see different people doing different things. Like, I'll be watching different channels, you know, in different spheres, we'll say, of hobby in general. Like, you might be watching someone like build a dollhouse or something. If you're into terrain, and then you'll see, say, techniques or materials as well. This is a big thing. You might get materials for that are good for hobbying, and it could be something to do with construction. Like uh, building houses and that. And it's exactly the same thing, but the fact it's for a hobby. Hey, Paul, how's it going, man? Sorry, don't worry about it. You're late. Hey, just don't let it happen again. It's okay. No, just you're grand. Thanks for having a look. I'm literally trying to get some oil paint on these chaos guys, and in the season of chaos, I'm not really overthinking it too much. I'm practicing here being a streamer because it's flipping hard, man. Fair play to Ninja and all them fellas. Who else is a famous streamer? I don't even know. Ninja. That's my go-to streamer. I'm sure he's still big. Hey, this is good. Five header, a theater. I don't know. I like that. A theater, yeah. It's fitting, to to a live show, isn't it? Really. This guy actually, do you know what? This green and purple. This green and purple is kind of. It's probably very very glossy for you on screen. Is giving me Joker vibes, And I'm not going to do my Joker impression right now because I don't have a Joker impression. Was the Joker in actually that Batman movie that came out with your man from Twilight? I feel like the Joker was in it, but I don't think it was the same Joker. Maybe that's a different universe. Joaquin Phoenix, that's his name, isn't it? Yeah, this is actually coming together a little bit better now that I keep poking at it. Um, the highlights are always very stark because it's like I had white underneath it, so it's quite stark. But I don't even mind. It kind of works. Like I said before, it kind of does the work for me. And I might add a little bit more red to his feet because that's a little bit more, I don't know, fleshy or something. I feel like I have yellow somewhere, but I'm not going to dig it out right now. And this palette is small enough. Like this palette is the back of a yogurt tub. So it's all just going to become black or basically really dark brown eventually. So, I don't think I'm doing anything necessarily different than I would do with acrylics, apart from this is just goes on a lot easier. I'm not necessarily using the oil paints to their maximum. I just think it's nice. It seems like almost a cheat or like a nice workaround. And as you can see, like I'm actually wiping off a fair bit of it. What would have been possibly a good idea is instead of just having it like a black and white highlight, to have some kind of very pale green. If I was planning on having this guy some level of green and purple, then that could probably be a better result at this stage, I'd say. But when I did this first one, I gave it a good bash on that Minotaur. I was very surprised with the results and how well it turned out. But I think if I was to do this on a Space Marine or something, I'm not bashing Space Marines. I keep bringing them up, but like a more kind of standard mini with less texture in it, then I think it wouldn't turn out as well. I just got a text. I wonder what that sounds like. But yeah, I think you need a nice texture to help with the oil paints. The way I'm using them anyway. Like I said, I'm sure this is So there's actual proper ways to do it, you know. So he's gonna, they all are gonna have a pretty limited palette because of the colors I've chosen to use here, which will hopefully, you know, when they're all together on some kind of regiment base, like I have kind of a regiment base made very roughly. I haven't like based it or anything yet with any materials or anything, but I think just more for like a display or you know a potential of a what's that game like King? Is it Kings of War or something like that? Is one, and just because these chaos kind of fantasy beasts, I feel like are quite useful. Like I said in the D&D situation or anything, and it just gives me permission, gives myself permission to make whatever I like, really, and experiment with the materials as well. So I think I'd probably call him done as well. Maybe a wee bit more green to his face. See, all the green is getting mixed in with everything, so it's just becoming a dirt. It's like becoming a swamp green more than anything else. And they could take yonks to dry because I keep just putting on more and more oil. Yeah, so I mean, the back probably looks better than the front, to be honest. And the glossiness is probably making it hard to pick up, but it just goes into all the recesses quite easily. Sorry, and that kind of thing. Now I might do. Do I have anything else that I could use? Okay, these are getting spilled out. We're going to use this as a back, as another palette. Oh Jesus! Right, that was close. So who's going to be? Let's do this guy because I'll probably actually finish off soon. To be honest, because I don't want to go too long. I might do a bit of green and purple. No, I kind of did green and purple on the other guy. Maybe this guy will be more red and black maybe. And the black probably won't be solid. Oh, I have white as well. Okay. Really, I should have a yellow as well. As a primary color, just so I can kind of mix and kind of make whatever I might need. Yeah, you know, I'm not blown away by this owl fella, but he's not exactly the most kind of, I don't know, well, he's pretty crazy for a mini, but he's not going to be the center point necessarily of a unit. Right, I'll try some red on this guy then. I'll just put red and black on this palette and see where we go. Black. There it is. Yeah, so I went for the more expensive kind of option. I think I might got these off Santi actually. In the kind of darker colors. Oh, I don't have a brown even. Small bit of brown on this as well. Like, I'm not putting much thought into this. It's literally like slap it on. And if it's crap, sure, we'll get rid of it after, you know. Just paint over. And I might just rub a bit of oil from here. So it's not too crazy. And this oil has, not oil, but what would you call them? Turpentine. That's already got purple in it, so it's going to be in the mix. And this little dropper thing is from, I don't know where I got this from actually. Probably like a baby bottle thing. I'm not sure. I just robbed it from somewhere at some stage. All right, let's not go too mad. So this just looks like really a brown more than anything. Oh, it's kind of nice, a darker brown. It's kind of cool. The cool things with oil is like you could just bang all that on, right? Right, and then it'll like automatically kind of blend itself. It's not going to focus when I do it, yeah. But it makes a lot of techniques quite a lot easier in my opinion. Like blending and that kind of thing kind of happens naturally with oils. And this guy being a skeleton, I kind of want his face to be left like pretty much like red slash white, not take away too much from his skeleton look in his face anyway. I was looking back on some golden demon like books that I got that showed like winners. Um, I was home recently and pulled them out of the attic, and they, the painting was different then. I think it was 2002 and 2003. 20 fucking years ago, like Jesus Christ. Wow. Um, that's mad. But the painting was different. Like the painting style was different, and I feel like YouTube and that really there's an explosion in the hobby. I think at the moment from interest and so many new people coming in and that kind of thing. It's becoming more, I suppose, mainstream to a degree. Like I don't know if it's me getting older or it becoming less of a taboo, but I'm very prepared to tell people about my hobby interests nowadays, whereas it's, maybe in adolescence and that I wouldn't have been so prepared. Which I'm sure there's a fair few people that could probably relate to that on some level. Until you find the right gang and then you're there like fuck with lads, like you probably tell them about it and they're like, yeah, that's class. That's deadly. So as you can see, that's picking up the texture on his back really nice. So this guy's kind of just turning out to be a brown and red mix nearly almost. So I might see if I'll go for maybe an hour or see how much I get done because I'm just kind of shiting on here as I do it. But to be honest with you, it's like I need to talk to someone about this hobby. Do you know what I mean? And my wife, like, you know, she'll give it a chance, but it's the same as anything. You can only kind of feign interest for a while. I think that's standard enough. Like, fair play. So with the oil paints, the black on black just darkens the shadow so much. This whole kind of oil painting really, I got onto it from probably Instagram. Like I said earlier, it was probably uh 52 miniatures YouTube channel. That kind of said, "Oh, fact, like after watching that, I said, "Feck it, I'll give it a go." But beforehand, on Instagram, there's guys doing magic stuff, and then you look at it, it's like, oh, that looks really hard to do. But the basics of it isn't. I'm sure, like I said, I'm doing this completely wrong, and it'd be nice if it would focus while I paint. I'm sure that's quite annoying actually. But you know, I've not actually been one myself for watching streamers like hobby and stuff like that. I don't know. I've probably done it very rarely if I've actually ever done it, to be honest with you. I've probably watched YouTubers that in the hobby space, and if they have a stream on, I might watch them because I like the person anyway. Like this is what I'm saying about like personalities and YouTube channels, like mean a lot because you're watching them and you're there like, oh, that person's making cool shape, but then at the same time, it's like, oh, they actually seem cool, like they seem sound. Like Luke from APS, what's his name? It's not even APS. Luke's affordable APS. No, it's a Geek Gaming Phoenix. Is that his name? Yeah, Or exactly, yeah. Watching videos or instead of streams, yeah, I hear you. Like the whole Twitch thing, I don't know, I've just missed the boat on it altogether, as in like the appeal of it. I could be wrong, but I'm just like, that's a lot of time to to watch to watch videos. Like I watch a flip ton of videos. Like a lot of people now are the same. They watch a lot more YouTube than telly. You know. Yeah, exactly, Marco. Yeah, so that's it. It's great when people have videos and they're all put together, and it's kind of the professionals will do it, and it's kind of like a neat kind of beginning, middle, and end, and they have a message or something. It's like the end of an episode of South Park where they all sit down and Stan says the lesson we learned today is X and Y. They have a script to it. You know what I mean? Whereas the stream is literally just. I probably shouldn't be bad mounting streams while I'm streaming hobbying. You know what I mean? I'm literally saying don't. I've not been in the position before where I'm just like, oh, I'm watching that person just because they hobby stream. If they do videos as well, I'm like, okay, I get it, because you know the person on some level. Like I've watched Bill making stuff of his streams. I've watched um I think his name is Alex, is it? 52 Miniatures, is his name Alex? I feel like that's his name. I could be wrong. Watch his stuff as well, his streams. It's quite chill, like, do you know what I mean? He's chatting and stuff. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're interested in their stuff. Anyway, do you know what? I might actually add some white onto the palette here. And I'm saying palette like it's a legit thing. It's literally a turned over little kind of dish for some kind of dessert. Like, it works, doesn't it? Dessert might taste a bit weird next time. But I feel like when I've done this with the Minotaur last time, and the oils had dried, and I went back in with the acrylics, and you're just putting little dots of highlights and little dots of other colors. It really worked. It really brought it to another level. Like, look at me. I took out all these minis here, and I was like, oh, class, I'm going to get all these done. Not a chance. Not a chance to get all these done. Not in this stream anyway. I'll see how I get on afterwards. But yeah, I'm liking the choice with this guy of the basically just red and black. And there's a bit of brown in there as well. There's a guy on Instagram as well. Mold is his name on Instagram. Handle, I think it is, on Instagram. And his stuff is like something like this, but a lot more like, what would you call it? Technique wise, but his stuff is surreal. As in like the artist, the art movement. It's fucking mental, but also looks class. I think it's the type of stuff that is like sometimes slightly disturbing, which is quite impressive to do for a 28 millimeter or 32 mil scale mini, and the thing is fucking weird looking. Cheers for dropping in, Floor. It's good to talk to you. I remember talking to you on Craft and Trolls Discord. See you next time. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I feel sometimes like handles are actually a lot handier. I was getting oil on me. Look. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the whole people from different countries kind of bonding over a hobby is pretty sweet. like Mark Rodero or Floor or anybody else. Like you've probably seen, if you are in the hobby space on YouTube, you've probably seen the crack. Like there's a fair few creators and stuff that we're at. Could have dropped in some pics for my D&D game from local artists. Oh, very good. You're playing D. Fair play. D&D. Nice one. Yeah, I'd say like I don't know. I've never been in the position, but I'd say a good like D&D campaign is quite like motivating hobby wise for doing getting stuff done and getting monsters done and getting terrain. Because some people be like magic at making terrain, and that's like their thing. But that's what I was saying. Sorry, there's loads of YouTubers that were at Adepticon. And a table I made with Trent from Miscast. Oh yeah, man, exactly. Literally for exactly what I was just about to say. Trent and there's a fair few other YouTubers actually that seem to be at Adepticon there recently, and it looked like some crack. I know that's like a video and it's going to be all edited and stuff, but like it looked like a crack. You know what I mean? What a crazy situation! Like an absolute bunch of nerds. Like nerds is kind of a different term nowadays. I suppose it's not as bad, I suppose, in the ways it used to be. From all over the world, nerds for you know little men, I suppose. It's kind of nice. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool seeing so many people kind of go mad for it, together and kind of meet up and travel so far for it and stuff like that. It's wholesome, but at the same time, it's like that's another thing that I'm saying. It seems like the community is growing that kind of way. Now earlier on, I think I said that some people use a brush that has little to no oil on it, and then a brush that has that they use to put the oil on the miniature itself. Nerds unite. Yeah, I suppose exactly. It's kind of just. It's not even that. It's just I suppose it's a common interest and not uniting against anything in particular. Just being like, hey lads, I'm interested in this. You're interested in whatever you're interested in. If you don't tell people you're interested in something, they could be mad for it as well, and you just don't know. You know. I suppose. Yeah, I suppose nerds could be cool in some way nowadays for sure. Pile of shame. I don't know. What have I heard people call it? A pile of opportunity or something like that. There's different ways to look at it for sure. There's different ways to look at it. Like I do have a legitimate like my pile of shame is probably more so unfinished projects and minis. Heads up to I think it was Chase was asking me about the snake bites. It's unfinished, but it's also ongoing. Let's say ongoing. It's not box of opportunities. Yeah, exactly. That's it exactly. It is opportunities though, because like going back to man, I mean, I've sung Trent's praises before from his cast, and I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him to be honest. Um, and that's what he was talking about. Like he had his big Nurgle army, and he was like, "Nah, affect this. I'm gonna cannibalize it and go mad and make what you know." I had fun making it. He probably had games with it, and then he was like, I'm just gonna rip it apart and use it for other stuff." And fair play. Like it is, especially when you're that kind of level of kit basher and that you could literally just make it again. Like I am jealous of his bits box though. Jesus Christ, fucking hell! Like um, all his bits from Ramshackle, from all those different kind of companies as well. Or like, it's a good idea. Like, look, he's really bringing attention to the little indie companies from across the world. I can say something bad about when He was there. He didn't sleep until 5 in the morning. Yeah, of course you're not going to sleep at a DepsCon or at a convention. So you have to pay that mad money to go there. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of like a festival. You know what I mean? A nerd festival. These guys turn out quite cool, but when I'm putting the white on it, it's blending in and it's kind of turning pink, but it actually kind of looks cool, and that looks a bit freaky in the on the camera. Oh yeah, what was it, Paul? YouTubers bits box better than the minis I paint. Yeah, I suppose. Oh, Floor, did you meet Trent then when he was over in Belgium? Is that what you're saying? Sorry, I might have misunderstood. Fellow nerds. Hello, fellow nerds. What's going on, man? I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, nerds, yeah, we could go by nerds, yeah. It's true, I suppose. It's very true. I think going in with the white when everything is still wet is the way to do it. I bet you now if I go back to the owl and this other fella. Oh, he stayed at your place for 3 weeks. Oh well, then I'm sure you know all about his, like, farting in bed and not flushing the toilet and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, and by the end of the stream, I'll think he's a gobshite and I'll unsubscribe. Hey Bucky, how's it going, man? I'm loving your animal conversions with the army men. They look class. They look like that game. You know what I talk. You know what I'm talking about already. The game that's like XCOM. It's turn-based strategy, but you're like these mutant animal fellas with guns and that. You know what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. uh, mutant, Mutant Chronicles or something. That sounds quite X-Men, but I think it's like mutant something or other. He's keep out. Yeah, yeah. I think he's a bit of a madman. He's a bit of a madman. I think Trent, in a good way, like kind of a mad wizard. Like I bet you he'd really like if someone called him a mad wizard, like because he carries a wand. I think. I'm digging the white. I'm digging the white highlights. So I might just keep going with that. Um, I bet you now if I left this kind of dry and then went at it with like a wash, um, this is a black wash. I think this would look absolutely mental. Like if you were to make a what is so different than acrylics? I think I might have disconnected there for a second, but I'm probably going to have to stop there in about 7 minutes, 6 minutes. But I actually I'm going to count this guy's almost done, like. And what I'm very glad is this bit of kind of experiment I did with this muscle, uh, sculpting muscle, this arm here, which is kind of correct, and his forearm is quite long, I think, but it came out quite well. It's enough to highlight and enough to kind of paint to. I can save it with the paint is basically what I'm saying because it didn't look that bad. Is as much as of a compliment I'm going to give myself about that one. But I think I might go and use some white on the extreme highlights of these other two fellas, especially this kind of big fat hound guy. I was reading Alice in Wonderland to my boy, and the Cheshire Cat That book is actually really weird. I mean, obviously it's weird. It's Alice in Wonderland. It's off the wall kind of. It's meant to be a bit mad, but it is makes very little sense. Or at least I'm missing the meaning. Maybe I'm missing it. But basically, I think that beast is going to be like basically the Cheshire Hound or something similar because of his smile. He looks kind of mischievous and monstrous. Yeah, I think I'm going to put some white on this then and mix it in because this one's gone a bit dry. Pardon. Hey, Bucky. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The army figures very versatile. I can reshape them. The mutant game. Yeah, exactly. You actually don't know the game I'm talking about. Yeah, you've seen it though. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I thought you were actually like basing your animal figures on, to some level, just because it very much reminded me of it. I think it's Mutant Chronicles or something like that. So you know what I'm talking about. But I think I played a demo of it and it was pretty cool. But straight away, I think it actually got a miniatures game on Kickstarter. Totally say my stuff is similar to that game. Yeah. Oh, like take it as a compliment, please, because I mean it as a compliment. Yeah, it's class. And I think it's another one of those things like Army Men. They're one of those things you're going to find in your cheap shops as well, aren't you? Your kind of discount stores and that kind of thing. And even if it's like you're trying to get people into the hobby at a certain age, you could probably just get them Army Men and like, oh, you can repaint them, or you could stick new heads on them, or sculpt heads out of polymer clay, sculpt little mad heads, stick them on your Army Men. Then you have your unique kind of squad of guys. Then of course you're going to want to play a game, play some kind of well, straight away I think little boys and stuff will just set up battles. You know what I mean? Or like almost play out little battles in their heads and stuff, and play out their toys like that. And then they're going to need an enemy, so that gives you an excuse to make some kind of monstrous creature or some kind of alien gang, or some level of bad guys, bad guys and good guys, baddies and goodies, baddies and goodies. That's what my boy says now. He's like, "I'll be the goodie, you be the baddie." Okay, like they have a choice, no? Oh, when we're playing Pokemon battles, man, he's just so good. He just always seems to win, no matter what. Just straight away, like putting a little bit of white on this. Okay, this camera doesn't look great, guys, does it? It's just really bringing out the texture to another level. Then again, and like I said, these oil paints were, the cheap version. They were, I think, like €12 or €10 for a set, and give you all the colors. I'm just using the more expensive kind of blacks and stuff because I think they're kind of what I need the most for the recesses and to create that kind of, what would you call it? Is it grimdark? I suppose it is grimdark, isn't it? I think I'm nearly finished up now. Once I use the end of this white, I think I'll be happy. I got a fair bit done. It's a different pace of painting as well. It's not as, I don't know, it's something about acrylics. I prefer this right now. Oh, Bucky Productions, working on Stargrave Necromunda team right now. Class, yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know what? That's what you need. I think that's a good idea because then you've got your archetypes. Maybe you could go for, I know in Stargrave they have a commander or something similar, and then you have a first mate, I think. So that gives you opportunity, like, so you have kind of two leaders there, and then you could have like a heavy, or you have like a tech guy, your Donatello. Then you have your heavy, as in like your gunner, maybe. I know it kind of depends on the gear you get, but like character wise, if you're thinking about like giving them some level of personality to expand that narrative gaming, which is kind of a part of that skirmish squad based game. In my eyes, anyway, if you're going to have about 10 guys, you could easily come up with, you know, either relationships or names and backgrounds and stuff for the guys that survive a few missions at least. Maybe not the rookies. Maybe not the rookies. Or the novices, or whatever they might be called. Like in my newest videos, I said that I found a local gaming group there recently, and I've not got a chance to, actually meet any of the guys that play. I've got to go to the club, but there was nobody actually there. And I was talking to the guy that runs it, and he seems sound, and he doesn't get much time to play himself, but they have a few tables and that kind of thing. So, and I was like, oh, class! Like this is this is what I was after, And the lads seem cool. I'm in the Facebook chat with them and stuff like that, and they seem cool. But I just haven't got a chance to get out and play anything. And that said, like they're playing Necromunda, Bucky, and I don't know if you know the rules of Necromunda. They seem simple enough, like, but I haven't actually played a game of it. Like I watched some videos, and I may have acquired some rules and that kind of thing, and I've had a look at them. So I feel like I'd learn better in the field of battle. That sounds cool, doesn't it? So I think I might have slightly overdone it with the white on this guy, but see, it's automatically kind of like blending in to the wet paint, the wet oil paint underneath. So he's kind of turning into kind of a pale pink with a dark green shadow, which is kind of cool considering none of this was planned. So a lot of this is really just going in the way that it's taken me. I'm not planning a lot of this. Even this kind of chaos warband with these creatures is literally just an excuse to have some fun with some materials and textures and some paints, Yeah, he's gone a bit pale, but from a distance he looks okay. So I think I'm happy enough with this guy, yeah. This guy's actually pretty alright. This guy's pretty cool. He's still freaky, but I knew because I liked his face so much. Yeah, I didn't want to fuck it up. I didn't want to mess it up too much. But yeah. Oh, I actually can't believe I went for over an hour there. This just shows how much I can shite on. But yeah, cheers for watching, lads. And I'll see if I can get on and do another one at some stage. But literally, have a go at the oil paints for sure. Because like you just saw what I did there. It wasn't anything special, and it was just normal bits and bobs. Paints aren't that expensive. This stuff is probably the most expensive stuff, but I wouldn't cheap out on it just because it'll blow your head off otherwise. And I've got loads of other guys to do. Like I have to do this raptor. It's gonna, what do you call it? Robo Raptor. See, that's what you need. You need a Necromunda gang of these dudes. That's what you need. Right, guys, I'm gonna say good luck and like and all that if you want. I don't have any plans on making this my day job anytime soon. Don't worry. Don't fucking worry. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Good luck. Shit, how do I stop this?